Hey everyone, and welcome to Group Up With Me, Hungover Media's esports show. My name's Ivan.
Over here, we got Julian. What's up, guys?
Boom. Switched it up on you. I let you say
Yeah, I
over
know.
here.
I had to fill the
And
void in my mind. Like, wait, he's gonna say something else.
we gotta change it up. We gotta keep it fresh, just like they kept it fresh this week in Overwatch League.
Yes.
Stage 4 saw the introduction of a new character and a new meta, which really changed up a lot of the way teams played and a lot of the standings. So we'll get right into that after this short intro.
Group up with me.
Well, guys, let's get right into the news of the week. Yvonne, I gotta tell you, there's no news of the week. So that's the end of the show.
Boom! Thank you. Bye. We'll talk to you later.
Surprisingly, no drama popped up, and nothing really of note to talk about. So we don't really have anything to talk about aside from Monte saying once that by season 3, $1 million player contracts might be in the discussion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
That is
a lot of
crazy. I thought these kids,
$1 million.
they're just playing
but
video
you have to play Overwatch for the Dallas Fuel.
I think I'll take that any day of the week. If I could play with anyone other than the people we're playing with at Silver, I'd be happy. At Gold for you, sorry. But, Yvonne, I think because we have no news and notes, let's move right on to the, well, we've got the stage standings right here. Surprisingly, New York in 4th, just because of differential. But
which is one
Jesus
map.
Christ. I'm sorry there is a honking car outside my window, but maybe you guys can't hear that. But anyways, I feel like
Which wasn't even a loss, it was a tie.
Yeah, exactly. To be
is
fair.
a tied map.
To be fair.
So yeah, what's interesting is that we don't have the standard fare of Korean teams starting off the stage strong. In fact, we have Dallas Fuel is better than Seoul Dynasty, Boston Uprising, and London Spitfire. Julian, your thoughts?
Dallas Fuel, man. Maybe this is their stage. I think perhaps Brigitte is the change they've desired for so long. For 3 stages, they've been going on losing left and right. Both their main heroes and not main heroes, so main players on the team and the main games that they need to win. But now they've decided that they can win some games, as we've seen last week. You know how it is.
Well, it
More or
did
less.
come a win against the Shanghai Dragons.
Exactly.
So thank God, it's that thank God we didn't give up the first win moment. This time without effects going on his terror and being the terror that he was in the first time. No, I kill you now, Korean eyes. But we did see some upsets, I think. SF Shock upset the Seoul Dynasty.
Yes.
And we saw Boston lose to 2 strong teams, but, they still lost.
I know. They lost to Philadelphia Fusion. They are not starting their Overwatch League Stage 4 Week 1 off with a bang, as they did last stage. They went undefeated the entire stage. But until the stage finals, of course. But this is really a bad start for them. But to be fair, they went up against 2 very difficult teams to play. So that's a lot of preparation in terms of the bye week that they had. But seriously, we thought that perhaps Boston was maybe now the best team. But the meta changed on them again, and perhaps not in their favor.
Yeah, this has been a serious change to the meta, and like I predicted last week, Houston did benefit a lot from it. We saw them come out swinging and beat the London Spitfire and also the Boston Uprising. Whereas the team that you said would benefit from it was which one again?
I said that Houston would also benefit from it, but I did say that San Francisco would benefit as well.
I thought you said the Shanghai Dragons.
I definitely said that as well. In high hopes. Look, they came out swinging against Dallas Fuel, right? They took the first game, the first map. That's usually not how their games go. They usually win the last map because they've lost 3 in a row, and then the team sends out their B team, or perhaps just doesn't care anymore and just wants to dick around because we're all gamers here, and love to just troll on people. So Shanghai typically takes the last map, but as we've seen, well, against Dallas Fuel, as we saw, they took the first map. So I've thought, at it was around midnight on the East Coast when I was watching, like, oh, this could happen. It's 1-1 at halftime. I'll go to sleep and see what the results are in the morning, and lo and behold, they lost. So
Yeah, Mickey brought out the Brigitte and it was all over.
yeah,
And our league standings haven't really changed all that much. We still
Overall
have a
league
very
standings, yeah.
highly competitive center with New York Excel by far and away the top team, having for sure secured their spots in the playoffs and looking like the favorite to be the number 1 seed.
Pretty
While
simple.
Boston Uprising shall have some interesting challenges to face with the London Spitfire in the coming weeks.
yeah.
Only a 2-win cushion for the Uprising, and with the 0-2 start, the Spitfire have come down to where 2 other teams are. So now there's a real big jumble.
Yeah.
And where I said SF Shock would probably not make it, they still probably won't, but maybe some other teams that we didn't expect to do poorly can fall out.
And I'll tell you, this week we have a lot of great matches coming up for you. We'll get to our match highlights later on in the show, but there are going to be a lot of changes in the middle of the league, or at least in stage 4 at least. This week is going to decide a lot of things, I think, because a lot of good teams are going head to head, and I'm excited.
Yeah, and we will bring that to you. But as always, first, we're bringing you some highlights of the previous week in a segment we like to call our Player of the Week. So, Julian, let's throw it over to you. Who was your Player of the Week?
Vaughn, the player of the week that I've decided is Saya Player. I've highlighted him in the past, and he is still an amazing player, even in the Brigitte meta, because he plays Soldier and he also plays Widowmaker. So Widowmaker doesn't typically come up against Brigitte that often, as she takes high ground and goes for the long sights. This play I wanted to point out, he ended up getting 2 picks, which left the Philadelphia Fusion in a retreat mode, so he automatically had the game sense to know that was happening and went up to the high ground to pick them up on their retrieval. He does this same exact thing again and basically wins 2 team fights for his team, basically solo, because Widowmaker can get some sick kills. Here he gets a nice Soldier ult and pretty much ends this fight as well. So Saya Player really carrying his team, not to victory this time, because he just couldn't carry them enough, and I was really sad because this guy is criminally on a bad team, unfortunately, or a team that's not doing so well. I love the Florida Mayhem. I think they're a great team, but Saya Player deserves glory, and that's what he wants.
Excellent point, Julian. I really was excited by the plays that he made. I think that the only play that I thought was crazier than Saya Player was when Carpe single-handedly cleared the point of, because we saw him there with the against the Fusion when Florida was playing
Right.
them. But Carpe single-handedly cleared the point against Boston Uprising. Not the player I want to highlight, but that was an amazing Widow play that probably deserves to be highlighted. I think he single-handedly captured the point, and it's something that it seems like Florida, even with such a high-skilled player, just can't get done. Like last stage when it was Saya Player killing 4 people, hard carrying in a row, they with the 20 meters to go in the final push on Junkertown, they still couldn't get it done.
Right. Yeah, it's very sad.
So an amazing player in Saya Player, an amazing player in Carpe, and I didn't highlight Carpe this week, but another Korean all-star DPS
Definitely.
is who I'm going to highlight, who plays for a mostly Western team. This is going to be Architect, actually. So Architect is a player for the SF Shock. He came about, he missed stage 1, but has come back to take a lot of the pressure of DPS on the Shock to himself. Here you see that he uses his blade. He destroys a Riptire, then goes into the
Oh my
backline.
God.
He loves to bring out the Trance. And even though the Trance was popped, he's able to get maximum efficiency for his blades. There's a lot of time where you think now he's drawn out the Trance, he's done what he was supposed to do, but in fact he gets more from it. It's a crazy thing that I think Architect, better than almost any player, can do. There you see him reflecting back a sniper shot on Fleta. He
No
preserved his team a
minor
lot,
feat.
made a lot of kills. He had like a quad kill Dragon Blade that helped them secure on Horizon Lunar Colony, and you see here he's just ripping through the enemy team. Architect was my player of the week to highlight, and he was an amazing bright spot on the San Francisco team that I think is shaping up to be one of the better contenders in Stage 3 and now in Stage 4.
Architect's dope.
Architect is dope. Almost as dope as this thing that you want to highlight. Now, remember, we have a segment that we love and that you love, and it highlights something special near and dear to Julian's heart.
Overwatch?
Julian's
I know.
Juicy Comp!
I love Overwatch so much that I like to highlight every single week an interesting comp that comes up when I watch the Overwatch League. So this is Julian's Juicy Comp. Roll the intro!
That guy is awesome! Awesome! He's
Yes, this is where I highlight an interesting comp every single week. Today we have Philadelphia Fusion versus Boston Uprising on King's Row, Yvonne's favorite map, mind you. This is in the Brigitte meta without Hanzo patch. So we see an interesting defense coming from Philadelphia Fusion. I mean, perhaps this is going to be just the meta, as it seems that it's working out now, but I wanted to highlight it because, you know, we're all learning how to play Brigitte together, even with Overwatch League. So the team composition is Carpe on Widowmaker. We have EQO on Brigitte. So EQO, obviously, one of Philadelphia Fusion's main DPS player. He's now chosen to pick a support character. But Brigitte is so deadly in close range and in a team fight that, you might as well throw the DPS on her, and he'll support the whole team and get some kills while he's at it. So we've got...
And mind you, this is the patch where Brigitte's shield batch is 90 degrees, not 60.
Right, also that. And we have the Zarya Reinhardt core going on here, which seems to be an emerging meta on its own. And we have two healers, which are Boombox and Neptuno, obviously. We've got Zenyatta and Mercy. So, I mean, granted, this didn't really work out in their favor, but I wanted to highlight it nonetheless. So basically we have a 5-man team that's all supporting each other, that's a ball of damage, and we have Carpe sort of sitting around on the high ground, where he can run onto the team to get some healing if he really needs it, or we can have Mercy fly up to him, and we have Carpe just raining some damage down, hopefully getting some headshots. So that's the strategy there. Yeah.
And I think this actually didn't work mostly on the back of one of the greatest Zarya performances we've seen in Overwatch League to date, with Kalios, the Zarya specialist, actually showing off his skill
Definitely.
on the Zarya. Since this map, in fact, he's done some okay to mediocre play in terms of the professional scale on Zarya, but on this map in particular, he kicked ass.
Yeah.
It was an incredible sight to see, and I think just based on the play, like the kind of strength of Kalios' play, it carried over a little bit, so that Philly wasn't able to secure that comp for that first point. But it's still They're trying to bring the ladder meta into Overwatch League, and we'll see how it translates, especially with that patch being the non-Hanzo patch.
And we all know, of course, that Gaguri could have done the same exact play, all right? Gaguri can pull this shit off, but she's on the worst team in the league.
Gaguri
Just let her free. Let her free. God damn it. Anyways, that's Julian's Juicy Comp for the week.
So, usually the other thing that we talk about is my important question, but this week, in celebration of all things Star Wars with the new Han Solo movie coming out, we've decided to do something a little bit more interesting. Because what's better than reviewing Overwatch League, Julian?
Mixing Star Wars with Overwatch League.
That's damn skippy.
Was that close? Is that what you wanted me to say?
You nailed it. You read the script perfectly. I actually scripted one moment in this entire show.
I didn't even read it. I just
and
said
Julian
that.
managed to almost read it.
I didn't read it. God damn it.
So, we're going to go ahead and hand out some of the famous Han Solo quotes that we've had previously and give them out to some of the Overwatch League players and staff to just, give a little shout out to Han Solo and give a little shout out to the players from Overwatch League. So, to open it up, Julian, take it away.
Well, I'll tell you. The line is, "Great kid, don't get cocky." We're gonna give this to the one, the only, the DPS support of NYXL, Jay Jonak. Now, this guy, I don't even know how are we gonna do this? I'm sorry.
You know what? No, this is perfect. I'm laughing not because of the award style or giving it out. I'm laughing because the reason that I thought this was super appropriate, and I hope you did too, is because if you listen to any interview with Jonak,
Yeah.
it's just like, why would anyone try to copy the way I play?
Exactly.
I'm the best.
No, he's this is the fitting one for sure. And if you just take a look at him, every single play he makes, whenever they get a tight shot of him, he's always like, pushes up glasses, doesn't even care. Like, I don't even know why I play this game. It's too easy. Everything I do is the best. I'm the best. And he clearly, no one can take that title from him. He might be the best Zenyatta in the world. We'll see.
He's taken the title from me, even though I say it a lot more than he does.
It's true. You do say you're the best every single game we play. Vaughn, what's the next? We got to stop talking about this guy. We talk about him too much.
There's a reason.
Yeah, I know. He's
Jonak. So not him, but look, I ain't in this for your revolution, and I'm not in it for you, princess. I expect to be well paid. I'm in it for the money, and this award goes to Rascal, who, when parting from the Dallas Fuel, got the full juice, as XQC would say. A very expensive player who got the full amount of his contract when splitting ways, I think. So, maybe it's not just about the juice for him. Maybe it's not just about getting paid, but definitely that is a huge part of it. And this is just my tongue-in-cheek homage to Rascal, a great DPS who's out of the league currently.
Definitely. The next one we have here is, "You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life." And we're gonna give this one to I think we should just give this one to Snillo. Sinatra, you can sit on the side, even though they're selling body pillows of you. God damn it. I think they were. I don't know if it was.
They're selling body pills of Snillo.
Oh, it's Snillo that's okay. Well, even better because Snillo,
put your greasy head on his greasy
this
head.
guy is the greasiest person in Overwatch League. Literally, he's very greasy. If you look at his hair, it's shiny because of the grease, not because he washed it. They never washed his hair ever in his life.
My God, get this man some shampoo, stat.
And he's a dirty tracer player too, so he's always getting behind everyone and getting all these one clicks on people. So I really think that this is an accurate description of Snillo.
Yeah, very, very much. He works well with the tandem of Fraggy.
Yeah.
I think that the sneaky backline tracer, and then you never expect Fraggy to come flying in on the Winston. So I think even though we
But
haven't
first,
seen a
of
lot of
course.
Snillo in this stage, this is kind of a stage 3 or stage 2 award for him.
Yeah.
And Sinatra does the tactical crouch, but we haven't seen it enough. So Snillo, this award's for you.
Yes.
The next one is Never Tell Me the Odds. This, of course, is the famous Han Solo quote that details a lot of, what he is. He's a smuggler by nature, a suave scoundrel who doesn't care what the odds are. He's going to breach the blockade. He's going to destroy the Death Star.
How many parsecs
Even
was it?
12 parsecs. Faster than that. Yeah. So Never Tell Me the Odds. This award goes to the teammates that made sure that Boston went on that 10-0 run. Gamsu and Stryker. I think the two of them combined just really put in work to cover mistakes, who had to get into the flow of the team at the start of the stage. By the end of the stage, I think everyone was gelling together really well, but definitely Gamsu and Stryker to start. You could feel how much weight Stryker carried on his shoulders with, when he cried.
Yeah.
Literally after they won a match. So I think Never Tell Me the Odds is a great
That
one.
was a very stressful stage for Boston, even though they won all their games. So, yeah.
I think because they won all their games, it was
perhaps.
stressful.
Our next one coming up here is, sometimes I amaze even myself. This we're going to give to two people. I think we want to highlight Carpe and Pine. So Pine,
Yes.
Big Boss Pine here, he's I feel like he's also, a very cocky person. He's very good at Overwatch, always getting headshots as Widow. And, honestly, he goes in with these Widowmaker plays that are very unorthodox and out of control. They shouldn't work, and he somehow makes them work. So, I'll give it to him. Sometimes I maybe even myself. And I feel like Carpe is the opposite of this. I feel like he's a very reserved person, maybe not. I mean, I'm just making these assumptions based off of video clips. I don't know anything about these people. But seems like a very reserved person,
It
maybe
does
an
tactical
introvert.
crouch a lot.
Yeah, he just, he comes into these plays and he's like, well, I guess I have to perform now, and he gets all these amazing kills as Widowmaker as well, and of course all the other DPS players I think he has a more diverse portfolio than Pine does when it comes to DPS characters. So
Yeah, and the plays that they make, I think, like stage 2 and stage 3, they're handoffs. Like Pine wasn't there in stage 2.
yeah,
And we were drooling over Carpe's plays,
Right.
I think, with both Tracer getting the clutch Tracer pulse bombs or getting the headshots on Widow. I think Carpe is an amazing player, and I think very much so that Pine is just like, once he came onto the scene as McCree on Ilios,
Yeah.
and people said, who the fuck is this guy, if they'd never seen him play before. So
that's me.
yeah. And so the next one is kind of not the reverse of this, but it's, don't everyone thank me at once. A tongue-in-cheek thing, don't everyone thank me at once. When he's getting out of the, away from the Empire in the Millennium Falcon. So,
Another thing
this...
you say consistently in our Overwatch matches, Yvonne, I don't know why you don't like Han Solo. He says everything you say.
This is very true. Shit. I need to be a bit more introspective. So don't everyone thank me at once. This is this award I would personally give to basically every Mercy player in the Overwatch League, whether it be Arc or Kelix or Big Goose. We see Moth here, or Toby. You go through the list. It's actually hard for me in my head, even though I watch Overwatch League like literally every week, to come up with a list of people who consistently play Mercy. And that's because I just think that they're the least highlighted players.
Never
I mean, Arc gets highlighted a lot because he's NYXL, and he doesn't die. But I think a lot of the Mercy players go under highlighted and over criticized.
Yeah, they're always criticized. They're only noticed when they get killed, right? So, and otherwise, Mercy is a thankless character. You're just there. You end up healing and damage boosting. You rarely see a Mercy whip out the battle pistol. Although I believe there was one. I think it's Neptuno or
Neptuno.
yeah,
dope
he is
with
the great
the battle pistol.
battle Mercy kills that we do see some highlights of. So I'll give it. You're right. Every Mercy player ever in the Overwatch League. The next one we have here is a little short quote here. It's not my fault. And this one we're going to give to Saya Player. Now, Saya Player has the unfortunate reality that he is on Florida Mayhem. We highlight Florida Mayhem because every now and then they pull off some really amazing coordination and great plays. But Saya Player is destined for gold, man. This guy is so good on Widowmaker that he will never miss a shot. So it's really not his fault that he's destined to be on the losing team every single game he plays at this rate. But, it's just not his fault.
What can we say?
It's so
Side
sad.
player's amazing. This is probably my favorite Han Solo quote coming up.
Okay.
Not the one that I use the most, because Don't Get Cocky Kid is probably the one that I use the most. But we had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? And Julian, maybe you should award this.
I gotta give it to my boys in red, the Shanghai Dragons.
Boys
to men,
and
perhaps, and girl, of course. I'm sorry. They do have the only woman on the Overwatch League at the moment. I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see some more women in this league. It's definitely a necessary thing because women play games too. But unfortunately, we got Guguri on Shanghai Dragons. We got to set her free, right? But this is a very funny quote. It's a funny scene in the movie, obviously. And Shanghai is just sort of, trying to have a good outlook on life here. They're still getting paid to play video games, so I'll give them that. But they have lost.
They're all going to get Korean barbecue together. They're having fun.
Guguri showing them all what to eat.
There's literally no pressure on
That's
the
true.
Shanghai
It's
Dragons.
true.
Like, they get a win. It's the greatest thing that happens in Overwatch League. It's better. It's literally better than getting a stage finals.
It's actually true, and I think it'll secure them into Overwatch League Season 2 for sure if they get a win. But I mean, that's a discussion for another day. We'll talk about that later because we have another quote coming up. The last one. Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dust and crops, farm boy. Without precise calculation, you could fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova. And that'd end your trip real quick, wouldn't it? We're going to give that to Wizard. Actually, we're not going to give this to a player or a team or a archetype of character. We're going to give this to Wizard Young, the coach for the NYXL, or at least one of the coaches. I believe they have more than one coach, right?
Yeah, he's the main coach and analyst. Wizard Hyun.
Yeah.
He's I don't know that he's revolutionized anything. I really don't know exactly how his coaching style has been better than anybody else. He also has the best players in the league.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, NYXL has, obviously top tier players. We got Jonak, Pine, Sabiobi, Libero. These are all great players. I don't want to name them all. All right. But that it can't just be, it's sort of like the Yankees when they were, buying up all the best players, right? That's a typical thing that the Yankees like to do. They bought Alex Rodriguez, etc. Randy Johnson at one point. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why?
I did. I liked Randy Johnson, the big unit.
I know. He's awesome. But unlike them, the NYXL hasn't bought up the players past their prime. But that's a different story. But there has to be some sort of synergy in this game. It's a very highly focused on team play. So that comes down to the coach and coaching style, because these guys can try to coach themselves, but if they have no sort of prime directive, leader above them, then they're going to fail. It doesn't matter. They're maybe even fail more than the Shanghai Dragons if they can't play well together. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think we saw what happens like with a good coach, right? You might not pull out your strats that you need for per team basis during the regular stage, but you do it in the playoffs. And we saw NYXL with the team-based strategies in the stage finals to compete against Boston, and that gave them the win. So I think NYXL has the best team, the best coach, and they're going to win season 1. That's my prediction made right here.
You heard it
right
first. NYXL wins it all. I would not be disappointed.
No, because you're a Mets fan too.
I lived in Queens for a bit. I like the Yankees.
So Julian, do we have any more predictions for this week in particular?
Well, Ivan, we're going to move off from our Han Solo quote section. I hope you guys enjoyed us. Tell us in the comment section below. But we have our games of the week for you guys. This is where we highlight a particular game, each of us, that we think you should take your time to watch. If you want to become a better Overwatch player, these games could really help you out. Ivan, which game would you like to highlight?
I am going to highlight a game that comes on Friday, May 12th at 11. It's a late night game.
Eastern time, of course.
Eastern time. It is a late night game for us here on the East Coast, but it's going to be an intriguing one. A shocking one, in fact. It is the SF Shock versus the Houston Outlaws. Yeah. I'm excited for this game because, as I've said before, to me, Houston Outlaws is the rock against which you break, right?
Definitely.
If you beat the Outlaws, you're a top-tier team. If you lose to the Outlaws, you're a bottom-tier team. Maybe this stage, it might be slightly different because the Outlaws have adapted to the Brigitte meta, I think, better than most teams. They do seem very, very strong. I mean, they're in first place, but I don't know how accurate that is with, map differential, etc. I just think that the way that they're playing, it seems to be stronger than a lot of other teams, and they'll give a lot of teams pause. But SF Shock is a team on the rise, and I want to see how they do. So this isn't like the two best teams going against each other. It's one of the best teams going against one of the up-and-coming better teams. So I'm excited for that.
Definitely. I'm very excited for this game as well. I believe last week we highlighted both SF Shock games as well. So today I'm going to do the same exact thing and highlight the second SF Shock game, which is going to be on Thursday, May 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I think this is going to be the reason why we're highlighting them, at least for the first 2 weeks, is because we do think they're an up-and-coming team and they have a lot to prove. With a huge change in the meta by adding a new character that seems to be really important to the meta, it's really going to change their gameplay up, and this gives them a chance to prove themselves. So SF Shock is currently in the league. They're at 9th. And so I think they have the chance to rise up the ranks and possibly get into the stage finals. They won't make it to the playoffs most likely overall, but they probably have a decent chance of getting to the stage finals. And I think that this is the week that they have to prove themselves most. So if they end up losing both of these games, then perhaps we'll see SF Shock sort of tail off and just, fizzle out. But they did beat a Korean team last week in Seoul Dynasty, and so I think that they can take this match against London Spitfire, who has sort of been fluctuating in the middle to lower rankings of last stage, and we'll see how they do against them.
Yeah, I'm excited. The SF Shock stand 5 games back in the league standings from basically that 6th place race, so that's why they're so unlikely to get into the top 6, which is the league playoffs. But I think that having them in the stage playoffs would be pretty big win for a team that had to adopt to a lot of different players coming into
Yeah.
the team with aging in or bringing an architect, etc. So yeah, I'm excited for that too. And that will conclude our week in Group Up With Me. Thank you for tuning in so much. If you would like us to examine a different esport using a different movie or more Overwatch using a different movie, just let us know in the comments section below. Otherwise, check out our podcast on Mondays, our Let's Play / Overwatch series on Fridays. That's more inconsistent now thanks to this guy than ever before.
We're working on it, all right? We're both really busy guys, so it is difficult to commit so much time to a YouTube channel. But we try our hardest.
So, thank you so much. If you like this, leave comments, like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff that we do.
Yeah. We'll catch you guys next week. Enjoy Overwatch League. Peace out. Pizza?
Or pizza.
Just get some pizza. Bye.